Coming up on the Style Rebellion podcast.
In most of society, you would think that being the Marilyn was like, quote, the good thing. Like, oh, she's the most beautiful. Whatever. In ballet, it's horrific. You do not want to be the Marilyn. You do not want to have any type of curve. I've always said, even at my thinnest, I was never the smallest one in the room. And now I understand it's because I have the curve. Their whole thing was until we can see your collarbones in your chest, you're not thin enough. And they called her in, and she's like, well, I'm trying, and I'm trying to lose weight. And the director literally, word for word, said to her, well, have you tried cocaine? Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Style Rebellion podcast. I'm Blair Petroni. We have the beautiful Erin Cox with us today. Hello, Miss Erin.
Hello, Blair. How are you?
Girl, that is a loaded ass question. We don't answer questions like that right now.
We'll just skip the pleasantries and get right in.
Skip the pleasantries. Skip the pleasantries. All right, you guys. So let's get to what we're here for, because as you can see, the title of this episode is called The Marilyn of Ballet. And I had the absolute pleasure of not interviewing, well, we're interviewing her now, but working with this woman, oh gosh, a couple of months ago. And when she came up that day, like on my virtual style analysis, y'all, I have no idea who anyone is. I have no clue. I have no idea. I don't research any of you guys ahead of time. For me, I'm like, no, that ruins the secret. Like, a lot of people will have you like send photos and send information. I'm like, no, if I know my job and if I know what I do, like, I don't need any of that extra stuff. That's cheating. And so she popped up. And as I started looking at her, I was like, you're famous. How do I know you? And what's really exciting, you guys, is our guest today is a Kibbe Romantic with a dramatic essence and a modern day ballerina whose success is far beyond the company life that she led. She's a former New York City Ballet and Miami City Ballet soloist. She's an award-winning performer. She's an educator. She's the founder of Kathryn Morgan and Friends. She champions artistry and agency and dancing on your own terms, both on stage and off stage. You guys, please welcome, and I am so thrilled to say this, Kathryn Morgan to the podcast. Hey,
Yay.
Kathryn.
Thank you. Hi. I'm so excited to be here. I am such a fan. I have listened to basically every episode of this. So I am just thrilled to be here. So
You don't even know how, like, I fangirl hearing you say that.
oh,
After, like, finding out who you were, I was like, oh my God, what?
no, I love what you do. I love all your content. I think you're brilliant. Yeah. And so I had to work with you. I was like, I have to work with Blair. So
Really
yeah. And I would, like, we were talking before it came on the podcast. She read me like a book. It was like my life suddenly made sense. So I was like, thank you so much, Blair. So yeah.
No, it was my absolute pleasure. And I found our time together so fascinating because, I mean, again, like, I am a troglodyte. I will say this when it comes to ballet. No, I know nothing about ballet. And so the second that I told you that you were a romantic body type, but that you had the dramatic essence, and I explained to you, like, the romantics are the ones that are the double curve. It was
Yep.
like I saw this light bulb go off in your head and you were like,
Yeah. Yes.
no wonder this has been so hard. And I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
What? And that's when I asked you, like, can you come on the podcast and talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah.
And so that's one of the main themes of what we're going to talk about today is really that about you being this insanely incredible star, like the Marilyn, which Marilyn Monroe was a
Mhm.
romantic body type, a Kibbe Romantic, but you're the Marilyn of ballet.
Yeah, and the reason it was so just kind of mind-blowing to me is in most of society, you would think that being the Marilyn was like, quote, the good thing, like, oh, she's the most beautiful, whatever. In ballet, it's horrific. You do not want to be the Marilyn. You do not want to have any type of curve. And I remember in like past interviews, I've always said, even at my thinnest, I was never the smallest one in the room. And now I understand it's because I have the curve. And just trying to get down to, the smallest I could possibly be and still being like, why won't my hips dissolve? It's actually in ballet, you don't want to have the double curve. It's like the worst thing you can have. So, but at the same time, now I'm like, ooh, this is fun for me now. I love this. And it suddenly made sense. So, yeah, it was a huge light bulb moment.
That makes me so happy to hear you say that because I felt like after our session, I could see how excited that you were, especially when you pulled up this photo for me when we were in our session that clearly demonstrated for me and obviously like no wonder you glommed onto it because you were like, oh my God, no wonder. It was this photo of you. Is the black gown velvet? Is it velvet?
Yes,
Oh my God, you guys,
velvet.
it's incredible. And it is Kathryn in this like statuesque maxi black velvet dress with these like large poofs, but it is literally hugging every single curve that she has. And it is, you want to talk dramatic essence. Holy moly, guacamole. I mean, you look at this woman and you're like, va 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 voom.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
And
that was the dress I put it on and I was like, this is my gown. I love it.
yeah, and you showed it to me and I was like, girl, that is you.
Mhm.
And the way that I explained it to you, because you were like, okay, but I always like, why am I not ingenue? And I said to you, because ingenues are princesses, dramatics are queens.
Yes. That resonated so much. It resonated so much. Because like even like the poofy or the pink or the too girl, I just always felt frumpy. Anytime I wore anything too ingenue, now I know it's ingenue. I used to say oh, anything too girly. Yeah, it just made so much sense. So
And especially seeing you in the villain roles, right? About how you could equally play both the damsel and like Sugar Plum Fairy and all of these like very delicate roles that we required this exactness in your frame and just how incredible of a performer you are, but then also pulling out the dramatic essence that you have with such power that you have. Like, yeah, you're the romantic, but as soon as you go into a role that's a villain, like you transform. It's
it's so much fun to be able to do both. And I never knew why because my most famous role is Juliet that I've done. And it just fit me. Everyone's like, oh, this is you, and Aurora as well, Princess Aurora. And then when I recently did Caraboss, who is the ballet version of Maleficent, that we call her Caraboss, everybody was like, oh, you're scary. You're terrifying. And I had so much fun doing that. So it's very like it again, it made my life made sense, Blair. When you said this to me, I was like, oh, there it is. So
And I think you sent pictures of a couple of those roles to Blair because
mhm.
we were sitting on a plane on our way to Palm Springs talking about the podcast and who was going to come on. And she said, you got to see these pictures. And she pulled out the one of you in a maiden role and then this Caraboss role. And
Mhm.
it was, it was, you have to see it to believe it, to just realize that that juxtaposition of your body and your soul make you so perfect at so many different roles.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun. I love my combination. I love being a romantic with a dramatic essence. It's just like so liberating for me.
and I think if people have watched you on YouTube for a long time, especially in the very, very beginning, like if they watched you 10, 11 years ago, they'll probably be like, I think Blair's wrong. I definitely think Kathryn is quite an ingenue. Mm, you and I have even talked about this. We were talking about it at the very beginning before we even started recording the pod a couple minutes ago. Like, there number 1, you were 10 years younger. So, of
Hmm.
course, you were just entering the idea of, like, stirring the pot inside of ballet and, like, would this F with my career? Or would saying things, like, really screw
Hmm.
with stuff, right? I don't wanna, like, stir that pot too hard. But you have always had this edge to you and this rebel side to you and this, like, very pointed, "I'm going to say what I think, and I don't give a shit how you
Right.
feel." Like, "I'm gonna do it, and I'm also going to beat my feet bloody. I'm going to stay the latest. I'm going to come the earliest. Like, I'm gonna work the hardest, even through the illnesses that you've had
Right.
and the current struggles that you still have with your immune disorder. Like, you
Hmm.
still are fucking badass, and you work through all of those things. Like, that's a dramatic.
Yes. There's no option for me. It's like, well, I have to work through this. Like when I first left New York City Ballet when I was sick the first time, for if anybody doesn't know, I have an autoimmune condition called Hashimoto's. And it's basically involves your thyroid and your body attacks itself and your hair falls out, and I gained a bunch of weight, which was super fun at New York City Ballet. But anyway, when I first left, it was kind of just like, okay, now what? Like, we can't just sit and wallow. Like, okay, next thing. Okay, next thing. And I've never been one to just kind of let life happen. I just always do. All right, what's next? And yeah, I'm a fighter. I don't always feel like a fighter, but in reality, it's like, nope, okay, let's move on. What else? So yeah, yeah. And I didn't think I was gonna have a dramatic essence until starting to talk to you, and then it was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess I do, like, fight through things. I guess I do speak my mind." Because in ballet, you are trained not to. You are trained to do what you're told, when you're told, with whom you're told, and that's it.
Mhm.
And so kind of developing that side of me has also happened over these last 10 years on YouTube as well, because that is so not what you're supposed to do in ballet at all.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that too in a little while. Some of the questions that we're gonna ask about that, about speaking up versus just staying quiet and staying, quote unquote, staying in line, right? So what we kind of said in the very beginning was that, ballet really celebrates beauty, but it feels like it's only one kind. And it feels like when your body doesn't match that specific archetype, which to me, what I say with Kibbe is it feels like they're looking for dramatics.
Yes.
It really feels like they're looking for that straight vertical. They want this line that's very long and languid and fluid. If your body doesn't match that archetype, the punishment is subtle, it's constant, it's devastating.
Yes.
And
100%.
so, do you feel like ballet was ever designed for a romantic body type like yours?
Originally, it was, and this is what's so crazy. If you go back and look at the paintings done in the 1800s by
Mhm.
Degas, by, the little, like, sylph things, they're much more feminine and rounder and even rounder faces and shorter limbs and kind of this romantic ideal, and then it's moved towards this very long and lean and almost ethereal sylph, like that was the next step. And now it is, they look for, honestly, in Kibbe it's dramatic, or I would say maybe a flamboyant gamine, just very straight, very no curves, because curves, quote, ruin the line, or it makes you look, quote, weighed down. And so yes, absolutely. But originally, no. And even if you look at some of the most famous dancers from like the 50s and 60s, like Margot Fonteyn, she
Mhm.
was very much a romantic looking person. She was not waif thin. She was not long, long, long. She was actually very small. So it has transitioned into this. It did not actually start that way. And that's what's very, very frustrating for a lot of us.
It almost seems inherently oppositional. Because isn't the whole movement of ballet supposed to be fluid and rounded, and yet you're seeking out these body types that are defined by their sharpness and their angularity, and so that just seems interesting to even when you think about some of the costuming, that it just
Yes.
doesn't align now.
It doesn't. And the other crazy thing is when, nature takes its course and you become a woman in ballet, like you often commit to this very, very early when you're a teenager and you start to become a woman and everybody's like, uh-oh, she's getting hips. Uh-oh, and you're like, wait, isn't this supposed to happen? Like I'm supposed to grow and develop into a woman. And for the men, it's often opposite. When they become, quote, a man, it's like, oh, he's a man now. Oh, look at, But when we become women out of our teenage bodies, it is like, and you're just kind of like, well, what am I supposed to do? So it's very contradictory.
Why do you feel like it it changed? Why did it go from, and by the way, it took my breath away to see the original Degas. You can see them in Washington at the Smithsonian. They're stunning.
Mhm.
And I didn't even know that I would see them as when we were there. I just like turned a corner and the boys were like, "Okay, let's go." And was like, and I just like walked toward them because they're just
Yeah.
so incredible. Why do you think so thank you for bringing that up because I almost started crying. Just me and my natural essence, it's fine, you guys. Why do you think we started moving away from this fluidity and this roundedness and straight towards straightness? Like, what happened?
That's a very good question. I think part of it was when George Balanchine came over from Russia and started the New York City Ballet, and he pushed the boundaries with choreography, and it was much more neoclassical and streamlined. And we went from very frilly tutus to leotards, or, everything was kind of pared down in
Mhm.
terms of what was new at the time. Now that's still considered very classical. I think that was a part of it. Choreography is pushing boundaries. Like what you're required to do as a dancer is pushing boundaries. And so it's not just about being a swan or a sylph anymore.
Mhm.
And so I think with that, the people he wanted or the people he used shifted. And so then it just kind of came across the board in ballet in general that the whole look slowly shifted based on pushing choreography boundaries and streamlining productions. So that's where I think it actually started.
Interesting. Do you think that it meant to have as much of an impact as it did? Like, do you think that maybe everyone thought that it would just be a phase with him and that it would just go back to curvy bodies after that?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think because his choreography is brilliant and what he was doing for ballet was brilliant. And I think just once it was like, it's always like the shiny new toy. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is new. Let's do this. And then everybody wanted to do it. And they saw that it worked and it filled seats and he
Mm,
became what he did. And it's kind of like even now there's, I'm partial to the classics, but there's only so many times you can do Swan Lake the same way. I think people just want something new and different all the time. Even though many of us still love the old versions of everything. But I think once people saw that it worked and they never went back.
mm.
Mhm.
And of course, the only color that matters is green, right? Money.
Hmm. Yes. Because and it comes we come by it honestly because the arts is trying to survive, still trying to survive.
Mhm.
Right.
And so for people it's okay, what fills the seats? What works? And ironically, what actually always is the best for a ballet company are the big full lengths. Swan Lake, Sleeping Beauty, Nutcracker. Those are still the big money makers.
Of
But
course.
everybody wants to do the new and exciting and like let's push, the choreography boundaries. But ultimately, the things that make ballet companies the most money are still the big classics. So it's this weird situation. It's a very weird situation.
I hear you. When we take a look at the style analysis that you and I did together, so when I do style analyses, I personally separate body architecture from your soul's outward manifestation, which I call your essence. John Kitchener really just looks at the outside of people. I feel like it's half what you look like on the outside, but I really feel like it's half internally, like it's your soul. And that determines the vibe of your clothes. And for you, your Kibbe is romantic, right? Your curve, your softness, your fullness, and you have a a dramatic essence, which is really all about being commanding and intense and just unmistakable. So, when you were growing up, did you sense that before you had words that your body maybe wasn't the one type that ballet wanted?
Yes, for sure. I remember even struggling with quote my weight as a teenager. I remember the first time somebody said something to me about it was when I was 12. Because I had the little round face and I was just round. I was just rounder. I was never the teeny tiny twig. There was one year that I forced myself into that by barely eating. And even then I remember I as waif-like as I still wasn't that straight up and down. So I think I've known it since I was little. And if you see pictures of me when I was little, I had the cheeks and everything. But in terms of the essence, I think my mother wanted me to tell this story. When I was in 5th grade, they gave awards at the end of every year, just to when you're at school, in 5th grade in particular. And I won the drama award. And,
Yes. I love that.
and I apparently came home and threw the biggest fit that I had won the drama award. I wanted something academic. I wanted to be academic. And I stomped up the stairs, and my parents were just like, "Oh, okay," trying not to laugh.
Isn't that ironic?
Oh, it's so ironic. So the sweet kid with the little round face won the drama. So again, my whole life makes sense now. But she's like, make sure you tell that story. It's like, got it, Mom. So, but it's true though. I just was always the quote round one. Oh, you're just it's a little it's just not as sculpted as it could be. Or you have because I have long appendages for my height. But even then, it's it was just not quite what everybody was looking for. Oh, you're going to have to watch that.
My heart breaks for
Hmm.
number one, hearing you say that. I can't I think about my daughter when I hear that, and if I heard anybody say anything like that to Genevieve, I might punch them in the face, to
Mm-hmm.
be quite honest with you. I'd be like, "You're lucky my kid's even attending this." I could pull them out and you wouldn't have money. Go away.
Exactly.
Right? What?
Mm-hmm.
What is the matter with you?
Yep.
Also, you would be shocked, although not, how many dramatic essences when I tell them that they have dramatic essence, the first thing that they do is they go, "What? No, I don't." And they throw this dramatic fit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "You sure?
Uh-huh. Yep.
You sure?" Kind of like what you just did as what, the 12-year-old? Just,
Yep.
stomping upstairs, I've
Yep.
totally had people do that, and, I've had husbands be like, "I don't see it," and the wife's, in the corner just, sobbing, and I'm like,
Yes. Let's rethink. Yeah.
Actually,
Uh-huh.
let's take
Yeah.
a frame a shot of this. Let me play this back to you in 6 months.
Yep.
but I want to tell, people, and I give them the love on this. If you have a dramatic essence, yeah, you're a lot, but you are a lot of love, a lot of interest, a lot of intrigue, a lot of fire, a lot of tenacity. You are a lot of things that a lot of people wish they could be, and you wear that on your sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
Do not lose that fire. You are a dramatic. You need to hold that close to you, and you need to be proud of that. There's a lot of people that have been told that the way that they are is not okay. And when you
Yes.
work with me, whether it's virtually or in the studio, you will never hear me say that the way that you are is not okay. Because in my mind, that is not okay. So if you're
Yes.
a dramatic, rock that. My
Mm-hmm.
daughter throws dramatic fits all the time, and I look at my husband and I'm like, I really think she's ingenue, but dramatic's winning today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Onyx wedding
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
So what happens we've been talking about little Kathryn for a second. So what happens to a young dancer when her natural shape maybe contradicts the ideal of like what she's being graded against?
It depends on the situation. I was lucky in that I kind of pushed past it, and I think being the romantic that I was, people always told me my artistry is what made me the dancer I was. I wasn't the technician, I wasn't the turner or the jumper. It was just the artistry. So I did find my place where I fit. Unfortunately, so many dancers get looked over because they simply don't have the body type. And what's really scary is with so many auditions, when you're auditioning for ballet school or you're auditioning for a company, sometimes they already are making decisions just by how you look in the leotard. And, because that actually did start in Russia, and they still do that at the Bolshoi school, where the young kids will come in and they'll see who has the flexibility and they'll see who's built for it, and they'll see, and then that's how you get in. You're based on that. And so it just depends on the child. And so many young kids, I see it now, especially with kids that I teach. It's just like, they're like, they're not even going to look at me because I just don't look right. And there's some of the best artists out there who are not exactly built for ballet. Thankfully, some companies see past it and give them opportunities and invest in those dancers, but many companies don't because it's so cutthroat and there's so few spots because of budget as well. We're not the NFL. So we don't have the big budget to just employ everybody. So it's so cutthroat. And yeah, if a director has a vision in their head and that person walks in the leotard and they're not even going to look at them in terms of dancing, which is infuriating. And that's what I've kind of tried to stand up for these past years is like, look, I don't look like you should, quote, should in the ballet world. And I still made it. So, trying to get people to open their eyes.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah.
Were you ever, and you were just talking about this, were you ever just like praised for your discipline while your body was just quietly, and maybe not even quietly, maybe outwardly treated as like a problem that they needed to solve?
Yes. I mean, I thankfully had a tremendous work ethic. Still do. Again, it's just kind of like, nope, get it done. I remember in ballet school being the first one there, the last one to leave. And I remember people praising me for that. But then I also remember the days in the company, in both companies, where if I didn't look a certain way, it was kind of like, and this is other dancers' experiences as well, it's just kind of like, well, we need you to slim down. We kind of don't care how you do it. Just you need to be able to fit in whatever. And different threat tactics were used. And it's kind of just like, well, we need you to do this for your job. And as a dancer, it's like, yeah, my job's on the line. I got to do it. And so there's where your unhealthy habits come into play. And because the way ballet works, oftentimes too, it's like, well, if you don't do it, we got 4 more people in line who will. And so you're made to realize that you are very replaceable. And it's a mind game. It really is. And so you can't be a professional dancer without a strong work ethic. Every single professional dancer out there knows how to push themselves, self-motivate, work hard. And unfortunately, that can get used against you.
So they basically told you, hey girl, you need to make these curves disappear by any means necessary. You need to figure it out.
Pretty much. There was one ballet we were doing. This is right before I left the company. It was a new piece, and so they hadn't done the costumes yet. And the ballet mistress pulled me aside, and she's like, this is when I was getting ill too, so I was putting on a lot of weight. And she's like, I'm wondering if you're aware. And first of all, in your head, you're like, no, I had no idea. So I wonder if you're aware you're putting on weight, and, we're thinking of putting you guys in white unitards. So we need you to, get it together because I can't put you in a white unitard, which a white unitard is like the worst possible situation because you see everything and it is like head to toe white, skin tight spandex. We ended up wearing blue dance dresses. Like that was the actual costume. So it was a threat tactic. But yeah, I vividly remember that conversation. Just like, we need you to get it together because we can't put you in that costume.
Wait,
Mhm.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna walk this back for a second. So they literally told you a lie about what outfit they were going to put you in because they felt like you were getting fat and they wanted to make sure that you would get slimmer.
Correct. Because we did not end up in white in any way, shape, or form. Whether they decided to, quote, change the costume after that, or whether it was like, well, tell her we're going to put her in a white unitard and then we'll figure it out later. That I'm not entirely sure, but we did not end up in anywhere remotely close to a white unitard.
Do they provide any direction or support or nutritional anything when they make those comments to you, or do they
No.
just say, "Go figure it out"?
Yep, go figure it out.
Wow.
Now I think companies have started employing nutritionists and mental health providers and
Here's a GLP-1.
yeah, like we've started in that direction, but at the time, no, it was very much fend for yourself.
Wow.
God. Can
Yeah.
I ask what are some of the things that you've heard of that dancers were doing to slim down?
Oh, 100%. A friend of mine, I'm not going to name names or company, but she was in a company over in Europe, and they called her in because their whole thing was, until we can see your collarbones in your chest, you're not thin enough. And they called her in, and she's like, "Well, I'm trying, and I'm trying to lose weight." And the director literally word for word said to her, "Well, have you tried cocaine?" Yeah, yeah. So it's all about the product and the aesthetic and what you look like on stage and how you get there. Yeah. And that's when she was like, "I'm done. I'm leaving. Bye bye." Like, she left. So it's just like, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. And so there, thankfully, I had a good enough head on my shoulders. I never did drugs. I never did anything, you know, that could jeopardize my health long term in my life, because ballet is also a very short career. If you make it to 40, you are the anomaly. Like, it is very rare. And I was in my, I first got, we call them, this sounds terrible, but in ballet, in the ballet world, we call them fat talks. So
Yeah.
I got my
Yeah.
first fat talk when I was 18. And just like, and then it got, there's always a check in and things like that. So as an 18-year-old, you're kind of just like, what, okay, like I'm gonna lose my job, and I'm really trying to like succeed, and I'll do anything for ballet because I'm a bunhead, and like I don't want to make him mad, and da, da, da. So yeah, crazy diets, not eating. Some people did drugs, some people, it's just, it's
Did anyone
terrible.
do a tapeworm? Well, did you hear of anybody putting a
I
tapeworm
have
in their
not heard
body?
of that. No.
Okay. I was, like, waiting for the tapeworm of you being like, "Girl, there was somebody with a tapeworm, and we heard about it, and they were outside Mount Sinai," and, oh, damn it, okay. I was
No,
waiting for that
no, I had
story.
not heard of any of that. But it's just, it's funny because people are like, "Oh, if you've seen the movie Black Swan," like, none of us know. We don't like sprout wings, but some of it's not far off. Like, all of these
No.
rumors and all of these stories about ballet, it's like, where there's smoke, there's fire. Like, they've come
Mm-mm.
from somewhere. And so it's not that far off.
That's crazy.
Hmm. And this is what I advocate for too, because you were talking about your daughter. I'm like, this is how the art form dies,
Yeah.
because parents they will be like, "I'm not putting my daughter in class," or, "I'm not going to go support that." So then you lose your patrons, and then you lose, I've been traumatized by ballet. I never want to see another ballet again. So then you lose people in seats, you lose board members, you lose parents who. So I'm like, this is actually not good for a multitude of reasons, the art form included.
Yep. And
Mhm.
I thought there's a pull quote that I have from you that I'm going to absolutely butcher, and I sincerely apologize, that I thought was brilliant, that I saw, you speak about in the podcast when you were on Legacy, when you
Hmm.
said, "When we are pushing this excellence and we're falling short, and we're hurting people, essentially, it's like pushing out talent, it's pushing out donors, it's like taking out butts and chairs, like it's completely making, like what you said, the art form die.
Because I have had so many people, especially since I've started speaking out about this, write to me and say, "Oh, I did ballet when I was a kid and it traumatized me and I could never go again." Or I'm now 55 years old and I developed an eating disorder when I was 13 and I still have it. It's just like the amount of stories I've heard from people because of how they were treated, simply even taking a ballet class, let alone doing this professionally. This is how you kill the art form.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Right? It's not just animals that are going extinct. There's truly things that we take for granted here and now that are art.
Yes.
Hashtag ballet.
Yeah. Well,
That's
and then
great.
instead of passing on the art form, you're passing on the generational trauma, right? That needs to
Ooh.
Exactly.
then be worked on and healed. And I remember, and perhaps it was the same interview, but you spoke about when you have a ballet teacher, and I really think you could extrapolate that to any activity, but when you have a coach or you have a teacher who is berating you and making you feel small, that's a reflection of their lack of healing and the work that they
Yes.
need to do. And as
Yes.
an
There are so
adult,
many dance teachers like
you
that.
can sit there and you can rationalize that, but as a 12, 13, 14-year-old child, you don't even have the brain development to sit back and dissect that for what it actually is.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. Because a kid's not going to understand, well, okay, that they didn't have the career that they wanted. And so then they're jealous of you and then they're taking it out on you. And like they have a kid's not going to understand that. And because there are so many wonderful ballet teachers who would never dream of saying these things to kids. The things that come out of some teachers' mouths, other teachers would be like, I would never say that. So it has nothing to do with the kid. It has to do with them
Mhm.
personally.
My God. Well, I know that Erin and I both have girls, and I can't speak for Erin, but I feel like I know Erin well enough that if anyone ever said that to her daughter or to my daughter, both of us would be like, "When do I need to get on a plane? Whose ass are we kicking tonight?" Like, so
Yes.
we would both be like, "Let's go, girl."
Yep.
Be very Dixie chicks up in
Well,
here.
and we grew up in skinny culture. Right?
Mhm.
We grew up in skinny
Hmm.
culture with these waif-thin models, and, these emaciated figures as being what was the desired I don't even know, like, what was goal that's not attainable for a significant number of people, and, I remember watching my mom with her own curves and thinking like, "Well, is she fat? Like, am I gonna look like that? Am I supposed to look like this?" And, if at 43 years old, I have done a lot of work of healing for my own body image and the strength and fitness of my own body after having two giant children and two cesareans and, just trying to work my way back from that. And I said to Blair the other day, I mean, I had a conversation with a friend just about health coaches. This
Mhm.
current trend of health coaches and people who are doing the work in an honest way with integrity, and then people who are doing the work and using very supplemental peptides, et cetera, and maybe not disclosing that as they're publishing their results. And I really think that we are doing our children a disservice in terms of their own just mental health and well-being, but then we're also doing them a disservice in terms of, like, what does a real body look like as we get
Mhm.
older?
Right. Right.
What does a postpartum body look like? It's there's some normal things that don't feel normal, but that's what an unaugmented postpartum body looks like. And that's a beautiful thing because that body did amazing things.
Exactly. It's like that's what, you know, again, you're fighting nature. Like it's incredible what women's bodies can do. And on the other hand, the other crazy thing I hear too, especially in the ballet world, if someone is, say, like a dramatic body type and is naturally thin, they also get bullied. Oh, you must be anorexic. Oh, you must be,
Mhm.
are you starving yourself? Da, da, da. And so that person's like, hey, I'm actually like the body type everybody wants. And I'm being bullied because everybody thinks I'm anorexic. So it's like you can't win. You really
Yeah.
can't win in this situation. Because I've seen it on both sides. No matter what somebody looks like, there's always something wrong, you know?
Mhm.
You took the words out of my mouth, Kathryn, because I was
Mhm.
just about to say the same thing with Erin. Like, that was something that I felt like was never spoken about and still isn't spoken about, which is if you are naturally thin, that's amazing. If you are naturally curvy, that's amazing. If you are naturally balanced, if you are naturally wide, if you are naturally petite, if you are, your body's amazing. You should fall in love with yourself. You
Yes.
are perfect just the way that you are. If you don't feel healthy, that is a completely different conversation.
Mhm.
A
Yes.
completely different conversation. But your body is perfect.
Mhm.
You
Yep.
shouldn't be feeling like you need to change that to fit some sort of perverse ideal that someone is fitting you into whatever mold there is. And one of the things that we're talking about with ballet is I sort of feel like in ballet, softness is sort of treated like a weakness of some kind.
Right.
it, why am I getting this feeling that like curve is so threatening to them? Like why is curve threatening?
That is a fantastic question. I don't know. I think it's, these quote classical lines. When the leg is up, the thinner it is, the quote better it looks. I also think it's this thing of like if you have curves, that means you don't have muscle. And so they think you're not as strong or you're not working as hard. Like, oh, your legs are curvy. You must not be working as hard because we can't see the muscle, You're not
Mm.
naturally like ripped. But I don't know. It's been this sort of weird, it's just how it is. I think it's in what the problem with ballet is that no one's challenged it. And it's like, well, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. We need you to look like this. It's just how it is. So that's like, why is it a threat? I don't know. I have no idea.
Do you have concern that the complacency will kill the art form?
Yes, because I think audiences nowadays want to see people they can relate to on stage.
Mm.
If we're too far removed, because I actually remember this is not a body topic, but when I started YouTube, so many people were like, "What are you doing? You're pulling back the curtain like you're giving away all the secrets. Like, what are you? We have to remain mysterious." And you see it even with like content these days. People don't want the picture perfect, like, I'm whatever and I'm perfect and this is my routine. Like, they want the authenticity. And I think if we're too perfect on stage in ballet and people are sitting in the audience going, well, that was really nice, but I can't relate to any of them. I don't see myself in them. They're just not going to be as interested.
Mm.
I remember being in the audience for a mixed bill, we call it, there was the company Ballet West, who my husband was in at the time, the Dance Theater of Harlem, which is this incredible company, mainly Black company. And I remember being in the restroom and hearing through the stalls, that was so great to see something different. I loved that it was different. It's so great to like see something new and new people who look different. And I remember being like, there it is. This is what company directors are missing. The audience loved that they saw something different, something new, different bodies, different skin tones, different people. Like it was incredible. I vividly remember hearing people talking about it and going, that's what we need more of. Whether it's, skin color or sexual orientation or body type or whatever it is, we need these people to be able to see themselves on stage. And if you're too far removed and you're too perfect and you're too whatever, and you're too in your little mysterious, keep it behind the curtain thing, that's how the art form dies.
Well, and it makes perfect sense because even when you look at literature about children learning to read, kids are more
Hmm.
excited about looking at books that have people like them in them where they feel
Yes.
represented. So why would we not then be able to apply that to sports teams and art forms and all kinds of other manners of self-expression?
Yes. Yes,
Well,
exactly.
that's the basis of therapy, guys, because at the end of the day, like we're all narcissists. We are to some degree because we all love ourselves, right? You want to talk about yourself. all the
Yep.
time. You want to talk about you. So if you can see you represented, why wouldn't you go do that?
Right.
Wouldn't you just be interested in that? That's a lot of debate. I'm gonna give up a real big secret about marketing. That's a real big secret of marketing, you guys. That's one of the things that we always looked for and did. That's why marketers and big Fortune 500 companies, and we always did a ton of market research because we're like, how can we help you find that button that we can push to make you buy? Well, it's how do we find you in this space? What makes it sound like you or look like you? Because that's going to make you buy. That's going to make you push that button, whatever that button is that we want you to push.
Right.
Why do you think, or do you think, I'm actually really curious about this, do you think that ballet confuses control with excellence?
Yes, actually. Nobody's ever asked me that before. I think it's all about, at least the way ballet is structured and ballet companies are structured. They have this mold that you have to fit in. And if you fit in the mold, you're excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't fit in the mold, you're a threat to the excellence.
Right.
And it released, well, like, what does that mean? And sometimes it's like, our audience is going to like this. Are we going to lose funding? Are we going to. And so the people who fit in the mold, that's security. And so we keep it controlled. This is how we are. This is how we look. So we know it's going to work. It's kind of like, will this work? So why change it? And it's the directors at the top too. It's like, well, it's proven track record that this is the mold. And so I know that's going to work financially. Because I've been told too, there was another phrase that was said to me when I got another one of my fat talks. I can't put you out there because you wouldn't represent the company well and you would be an embarrassment. And it's because I didn't fit that mold. And so I think it is this way of, because we're not ESPN or the NFL or something that's like humongous and going to just bring in money because of what it is. Company directors are always trying to make sure they'll survive. And if the mold worked before, it'll work now. And so like we can't put you out there because what if we lose patrons, and what if we, like you're not going to represent the ballets well, because it's also this thing of like we have to represent the ballets and like, So yes, 100%, it's a lot about control.
When they said this to you, did they also hand you a vial of cocaine?
No.
I'm sorry, girl. I had to like just be
No,
real
that was
serious for a
not
second. Oh my word.
Oh,
Sorry,
man.
dude.
No, I
Just
love
had to
it.
give you a little bit of a ha-ha because it was getting real morose up in
Oh, we're
here.
getting deep. We are getting deep
So
today.
deep, dude.
Are we going to put a trigger warning on this episode?
Would be like, if you have any sadness, don't listen. Or if you do
Yeah.
have sadness, this is gonna be real cathartic. Keep tissues next to you.
Exactly. Yeah. Because even if you're not in the ballet world, there's so many fields where women have had to deal with this kind of thing. Not fitting a mold, not looking a certain way. Oh, you're too thin, you're too fat, you're too tall, you're too short. Like, we've all had to deal with it. And yeah, in some capacity, in some way, shape, or form.
I agree with you. Do
Yeah.
you think if you'd been born with a different Kibbe body type that your career would have been easier or just interpreted differently?
That's a good question. It probably would have been a little easier. I think psychologically is how it would have been easier. I would have seen something different in the mirror, and I probably would have had more confidence or more, whatever the word is. And I think how I viewed myself would have been different, and I probably would have exceeded and excelled even more. I don't know. I'm actually glad I wasn't, because I think I've been able to, like, even on bad days where I feel humongous or this and that, I'm just kind of like, no, that's not the point of you. You're not supposed to look like the typical dancer. You've helped so many more people because you don't. So I wouldn't change it, actually. But it probably would have been easier.
Have you sat back yet and looked at everything that you've done and given yourself the kudos you deserve?
Probably not. No, because it's really good for me. Maybe it's the dramatic essence of me, but I'm just like, I gotta do more. I gotta do more. It's not good enough. Gotta keep going. What else can we do? How can I do that? I'm even right now going back through my own YouTube channel and re-optimizing all of my like this is a big project just to like, okay, we gotta be better and we gotta like do the algorithm and we gotta just like because I don't want to ever like settle and like yeah, I want to keep going.
Yeah, that's the dramatic essence
That's
for
the
sure.
dramatic.
It's a lot of intensity. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that
Mhm.
like it's Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada. I don't care if it's a
Oh,
game as long
totally.
as I win. Like
Yes. Yes. Yes.
it's
Yep.
100%.
I love that movie. I love that movie so much.
Can't wait for the second one. I'm like
Me too. Mhm.
stoked. Like, oh, we have the cerulean quote. What's next? What's the new cerulean? That I think that's something that's very, very important. Not cerulean, but stepping back and giving ourselves our dues
Hmm.
and looking at what you've done and being really honest with yourself about the changes that you've had, how you've affected people's lives, what you've done. And that's not being humble or not being humble. I think that's you stepping back and going, this is what I've done. This is how I've impacted people. I have to keep going.
Right. Right. That's so true. Yeah. If it all of a sudden switched and came easily and I became, real thin and like yeah, I'm not going to impact as many people. And so it's yeah, I need to appreciate what I've done so I can keep doing it. That's so
Yeah.
true. I hadn't thought about it like that. Thanks, Blair.
Also, yeah, girl. Also, you're a big deal. It's okay if you act like it.
That's hard for me, actually. Not gonna lie. That's
No.
where I questioned the dramatic essence because it's like, oh, don't get too big for your britches, My mama wouldn't like that. Because I'm from the
Mhm.
South and we,
Yeah, we don't do that.
but yeah, but no, it's true.
That's what I have to say that a lot to a lot of friends and clients is if you're a big deal, it's okay for you to act like it. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean you're an asshole.
Right.
But
Right.
if you're really making a positive difference and people are trying to belittle you or pretend like your contribution is less than, nah,
Yeah.
you
Because
can disagree.
I think that's what's also hammered into in the ballet world is that quote success is if you're a big principal star in some big
Mhm.
company. And those of us like I was a soloist, I was never a principal. I did principal roles, but I was never the rank. And so until you've made it to principal, you're kind of like still not a big deal. And that's how the ballet world makes you feel also. So this sort of unconventional career path I've had is so foreign to people in my little world that, yeah, I kind of, so half the time I feel like a failure because it's like I, quote, didn't make it. But that's true to hear it from that perspective.
Didn't make it, says the woman that had the fucking dream career. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, Erin, go ahead.
No, I mean, I just look at it and I think about the legacy that you leave. Because at the end of the day, you can dance a beautiful career and, be a principal and impact the people who are watching in the audience or impact other dancers. But when you put yourself on display as someone who has moved through seasons of really difficult things and you have put in the work of healing, not only for yourself, but for how you pass on the art form, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
And the impact of that is lasting. Far more
Yeah.
than, a 2.5-hour ballet.
That's so true. Because I've said that before also, even describing the career. Like the tiara comes off at the end of the show. You put the tiara down, you take the bobby
Mhm.
pins out, you take your makeup off, tutu comes off, and then you're back to the grind and you're back to you. So, yeah, that's so true.
I wanna talk about your essence for
Mhm.
a few questions. So, even when your body didn't fit like the traditional ballerina mold, like your essence and your presence as a dramatic, undeniable. Clearly undeniable, especially when we see you in certain roles and certain photos. Do you think that ever made you, I'm going to say dangerous? That's the word I'm going to pick. Do you feel like it made you dangerous to the system because a romantic, dramatic girl, that is an insanely powerful combo that will not be denied. Like, you will be noticed.
Yes, I think so. Especially, yeah, every time I've done like either started YouTube or the first time I spoke out, I am absolutely a danger to the system. I am not what people want me to be doing, you know. I am declaring truths. Yes, it's kind of like what I try to do on my YouTube is like I'll bring you into ballet and we'll have fun and the beauty and the romance of it. But then I'll also tell you the truth. Like this is how it really is. And I'm majorly a threat to the system. And I never viewed myself that way until I started doing this and it just happened naturally. But yeah, like I'm not your like I'll just roll over and do what you want me to do.
Do you think that institution, and this is, I mean, I think I'm leading the witness with this question, but I have my feels on this question. Do you think that institutions like punish women who are both visible and non-compliant?
Yes. Yes, because if I was a man, everybody would be like, "Oh, good for you." But I think because I'm a woman and I'm a ballerina and this stereotype for the ballerina is soft and beautiful and pretty and perfect and whatever. Yes, very demure. Um, yeah, it's because I'm going against what this we're striving to be. You're striving to be the sylph, the ingenue, the etherealness, the weightlessness, the this and that. And so somebody who's looks like that, but then tells the truth, it's kind of like what I look like doesn't match what I do, in a certain way. I'm not sitting here being like, that's so wonderful and I love it. And I love the art. That's not not what I do. I'm like, I got time for that. So what I look like and like it doesn't match. It doesn't always match. Which is why when you gave me my combo, it was like, oh, that makes sense.
You're like, oh, rebel. That tracks.
Okay. Yeah.
Tracks, it tracks, it
Yeah.
tracks.
Tracks. Yeah.
What do you think ballet is more forgiving of? Do you think it's more forgiving of thin bodies or big personalities?
It's more forgiving of big personalities, I think. Like, well, I mean, if you have a big personality, but you look, quote, a certain way, they don't care. Like, you can be a diva and this and that. I think you have to, all of us are divas in some way because we have to go out on stage every night and do what we do or pretend to be somebody else or especially when you get thrown on, as we say, like with 2 hours notice and you're just kind of like, all right, I have to go out there and trust myself. Otherwise, these people are paying to see me. There was a performance where my Romeo changed 2 hours before. And it was just kind of like, like, you have to rely on yourself at a certain point. So I think the big personalities, if you can deliver and you fit the mold, they don't like, okay, great, it's just her. She's just a diva, blah, blah, blah. A lot of us, though, aren't in effect divas in terms of I must have because of how ballet is structured. Like if you're that self-centered and if you're that a bit of a bitch, really, like that doesn't survive because there's no time. So most of the dancers I know are very much, we all put in the work, the grind, like don't have egos in terms of that. But yeah, if you don't fit the mold, if you don't look a certain way, that's far bigger problem, actually.
That's really interesting. I want
Mhm.
to talk about visual control because clearly that's what this entire, really what all the ballet is doing is, I mean, they're controlling you guys because they need to control the narrative to make sure that they can sell tickets at the end of the day. So
Mhm.
when a system, which it is probably the company or just ballet in general, when they control your weight, your hair, your makeup, your costume, like what does that do to your identity as a person?
I mean, it's in terms of like makeup and the costume, it's all about, it's kind of like the actors in a movie. It's really the director's genre. So it's like the director's piece of art. That's what the dancers are for the choreographer. So the choreographer wants a weird costume, you just go along with it. If you want makeup, you go along with it. That's fine. For me, every time I went out on stage, I didn't actually feel like me. You kind of
Mm,
have this weird thing of like I'm playing somebody else, especially in the character roles. Villain
mm.
or ingenue didn't matter. For 2 hours, I was Juliet. I was not myself. For 2 hours, I was Black Swan, or and so in that kind of sense, it's almost fun to like not be yourself for a little bit. But then again, I don't think any of us realize how much we do what we're told.
Of
And which
course.
is why those of us that speak out, it's kind of just, it feels like the end of the world. And why most dancers don't, because their jobs are on the line. I only started speaking out when my job wasn't on the line. But I think, yeah, for me, in many ways, it was almost fun to be somebody else for a while. But yeah, it does add to the fact that, okay, I'm in this costume that I absolutely hate. There was one ballet we had to do. We had lime green point shoes and lime green tights, and you're just sitting there like, what, what am I doing? Like,
You're
this
the
is,
Jolly Green Giant.
yeah, you're just like, what? Why? you know, okay. And it's someone else's vision, just like the movie is the director's vision, and they can
Mm.
cut and edit it however they want. You played a part in it, but it's really their art form. It's sort of the same way with ballet. You are the vehicle. And I heard somebody describe this once really, really well. It's like we are the paint and the canvas for the artists, but we're human beings. If an artist doesn't like their work, they can crumple it up, toss it in the trash. It's fine. What makes ballet so difficult is you can't do that with people. And
Mm.
so many choreographers and directors think they can. I don't like that. Take them out. Da 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 da. But it's like we're not an inanimate object. So that's where ballet gets very tricky because you're dealing with human beings, not paint and canvas.
Fascinating.
Mhm.
So I want to pop back to something that you said because I've been thinking about this for days, and now that you've said it, I'm like, I gotta ask. Gotta do it. So you said like I only started speaking out when it didn't affect my, I wasn't a
Mhm.
company anymore. Do you feel like you speaking out has put like a black dot on you being able to be hired in company anymore? Like, do you feel like you won't be because you're this really well-known figure now and you're revealing like don't look behind the curtain, like you're revealing
Yeah.
everything behind the curtain?
Probably. Yeah. And that's one of the things, like when I first, because there was a huge gap between New York City Ballet and Miami City Ballet. I left New York. I thought I was never going to be in a company again. And I started YouTube and I spoke out and this and that. And then it was 7 years later that I was like, oh, I can still do this. I'm going to audition. And it was made me, let me rephrase that English. It was positioned to me like, we love what you're doing. We love that you're speaking out. Thank you for doing this for our art form. And before I got hired, once I got hired, I was like, oh, that's not true because
Mhm.
now I can't keep speaking out. And then once I left Miami and I wasn't under contract, I let 6 months go by on purpose and I wasn't under contract anymore. It was sort of like, well, if I don't speak out, then who will? I'm not under contract. My job is not, I'm not depending on roles to get this because I freelanced for a while after that. And it was like, if I don't speak out, like I'm the best person to speak out. And all these other dancers, and so many of them messaged me privately. Because it was really after Miami that I was just like, all right, well, screw this. I am fully committed to speaking out now. So many dancers messaged me privately and were like, thank you so much. I can't support you publicly, but I just really appreciate what you're doing. Thank you. So, like, yeah. And I was like, I get it. I don't need you to support me publicly. I'm good. And
Mhm.
many of them did. And some company directors have still come up to me and said, we thank you so much. We love what you're doing. But part of me is just like, do you though? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't trust you. And now I'm at the point where I don't actually want to join a ballet company again. So it doesn't bother me as much. Because when you're under contract with a ballet company, everything is about that company.
Of course.
They used to monitor your social media and what you showed, pictures and videos, and understandably, but so I would not want to have to do that again. And so I didn't care at that point. And and that's the question I had to ask myself. If I'm blacklisted for the rest of my life, am I okay with that?
That's right.
And yeah, I'm fine.
Because you have made, and that's something that our listeners probably won't understand because they just don't know how influential you are in this world yet. Guaranteed, you will probably have a lot more hits on your YouTube and your website and everything post this interview coming out, but they don't understand just what you've built for yourself. So I would love to give you a second to tell everyone, because I mean, the interview is not done yet, but I want you to be able to tell them, like, hey, this is what you've done. Like, what have you built for yourself now that you don't work for a company? Like, let these people know how much of a badass you dead ass are.
Well, I have a huge YouTube channel that's still doing
Huge,
well.
huge,
For ballet,
375,000, huge.
for ballet, that's big. I mean, I'm not, in the millions, but we're trying. I've built that. I have, I've taught for over a decade now. I'm kind of moving away from teaching and more back to the speaking out. I judge ballet competitions. I've hosted and done awards for ballet competitions. I have a huge online platform with, it's basically like the Netflix of ballet, where it's just all classes. I have like 250 classes. Yeah, I'm an advocate. I've done interviews. Yeah, I don't even know how to describe what I do. I'm sort of a ballet personality at this point.
You're an influencer.
Yeah. So
you're an influencer, like, truly.
I believe I was the first professional dancer on YouTube. I think I hold that title. Because, again, it wasn't done. Everybody's like, what are you doing? Even my mother was like, what are you doing? And then during COVID, she was like, oh, I get it. I get it. I'm like, thanks, Mom.
You're like, welcome.
Thanks. Appreciate it. So.
Welcome, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why as soon as I saw you, when your camera turned on, I was like, you're famous.
I remember you saying to me, you're like, do you have a blue check mark on Instagram?
Yeah, I think I said it just like that.
Yeah.
Like, I think I have a blue check mark, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, like, oh my God,
me.
but you do. Yes,
Yeah.
that's you guys. I'm very old. I'm pretty sure I turned 37. Might be 38 this year. When you get in your late 30s, you're not sure anymore.
Yep. I'm 37 also.
See what happens when you're super stunning. You just get older and you forget things. But see, Kathryn remembers way more things than I do because she doesn't have children. She remembers way more things.
There is that.
You're smarter. Do you have any costumes that felt humiliating for you to wear?
Let me think back. I mean, there were a couple that, well, anytime we had to do a leotard ballet, which is just never fun, which is basically black leotard, pink tights, or worse, white leotard, pink tights. But, and now that I'm thinking back, there was the white leotard ballet, we had belts with them, and I was so happy to have a belt. Romantic.
Ta-da! Romantic.
And I just remember like, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought because there's a belt. And everybody was like, I hate the belt. And I'm like, I like the belt.
That's because they're dramatics and they didn't need the fucking belt. But tell everyone, Kathryn, now that you know your accommodations and your superpowers and what makes you special, why do you why are you obsessed with belts?
Waist emphasis. Show the double curve. It's more of waist definition. Yeah.
Like, hard. Yeah. Like, you are the one that needs, like, if there's dead ass anything that I can give you, I'm like, bitch, put a belt on there.
Put a belt.
Cinch it, boo-boo, cinch it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's so weird too, because I think back even in my like early 20s, like normal clothes, I always felt frumpy in. And then the minute, even though I wasn't, quote, the thinnest, the minute I put a leotard on, I was like, oh, I feel thinner in a leotard than I do in normal. And that's why. Bodycon. Yep. Mm-hmm. It all makes sense, Blair. It all makes sense.
And guys, what we're talking about is like, we're talking about very specific quote unquote guidelines for aka rules, if you want to call it that, that you can see on the romantics page on my website, on the Kibbe Romantics page that Kathryn, once she got hers, she was I imagine, Kathryn, as you were reading through them, you were like, son of a bitch. Like,
Yes.
you were just like, I see it. I see it. Like, all of those, you were like, that's why I love that shirt in 7th grade. Like,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
probably
yep.
what was happening. Yeah, all of
Yep.
that. But that's what's happening is, for example, romantics look incredible in bodycon. We always want you in a damn belt. Like, rock me in pedal pusher pants. You're gonna kill it in midi. We want to have you in sweetheart necklines. We want to have some open décolleté for you. You don't have to. And a lot. You know what's really fascinating? I have so many people that DM us and say, "Can you talk a little bit more about romantics wearing modest clothing?" And I'm like, "Why do you think why do you feel like romantics have to be like showing all the goodies? You don't have to do
Mm-hmm.
that. There's nothing that says that a romantic can't wear modest clothing. What are you
Yeah.
guys talking about?
Yeah.
Just because you're showing a curve doesn't mean it's immodest unless you guys are thinking that an ankle is immodest."
Right.
And
And
I guess it
I
depends
was
on your
shocked.
background, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
There
I was
are
shocked
schools of people.
when you said I was romantic, because I actually didn't think I was curvy enough.
Mm.
I was just like, it took me a second because I'm not, Marilyn or Beyonce or, like, I just was like, I'm not curvy enough. But then now I can't unsee it. I can't unsee it.
Yep.
So,
There's gonna be, I'm sure that when this comes out, I'm sure a lot of people are gonna be, and it's gonna be the Kibbe community on Reddit, guaranteed, because those people are the worst. I'm calling y'all out. You know you are. Where because you have a rib cage, they're gonna be like, she's square. Like, shut the F up, you guys. Everyone has a rib cage. But what this means, guys, if you go and you look at Kathryn's body, her top, essentially, when you have a curve on the top, it's gonna mean that, like, your tatas extend outward off the side of your rib cage, and then her waist comes in, and then she has these, like, stunning hips on the outside. And what that does is when we put her in all of these, like, very form-fitting clothing pieces, leotards, things like that, like, you can see this more like hourglass type shape that she has. And there's a lot of people that think, oh, it has to be this like extreme hourglass for you to
mhm.
be a romantic. No, ma'am.
Yep.
That is not how this works.
Yep.
Nope.
And that's what I thought, because that's the stereotype of it.
Yep.
But it makes so much sense. Because I
Yeah.
actually, at one point, I thought I had no curve just because I felt so boxy because of the rib cage. But then now once you see it, you can't unsee it.
I know. And then when somebody tells you, you're like, I told you, it's like lifting a veil.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Are there any costumes that you were obsessed with wearing where you're like, I love this, I never want to take it off my body?
Here's the ironic twist in all this, what we call
Here it
the
comes.
romantic tutus. So, for anybody that doesn't know,
Yes.
platter tutus or normal tutus are the ones that go straight out.
Yeah.
Like Aurora, Sleepy Beauty. And actually, I didn't mind those either if they had enough of a cinch. Those I actually looked decent because, again, form fitting. But the romantic tutus are ones that are like tulle that are to the shin. So, like something like a Giselle or a La Sophie or, something that's a romantic ballet. I liked my Juliet dresses too. Those were nice. Anything, my whole thing, and I've said this for years, and it's just making sense. My best roles were drama in a dress. That's what it was. Drama in a dress. So we have romantic, dramatic, drama in like Juliet, Giselle.
Mhm.
Aurora, Aurora's not that dramatic, but like anything that went in and out. So the waist dresses that flowed. There you go.
Talk to me about, and I want to talk about your journey after, because we're already there. Because I want to keep talking about it because I want to talk about all the happy stuff. Your journey post getting your style analysis. What's changed now that you've stopped dressing to like basically disappear?
I the dramatic in me wanted to throw out everything in my closet. Is that right?
I'm starting from scratch.
Just go, Then I was like, well, maybe we need to be a little more economical about this. I try and wear some sort of belt or like make sure that my waist is showing on every single outfit. And the first time I did that, I got so many compliments. It was like, oh, you look so beautiful, and not, oh, I like your outfit. I think there's or oh, I like that color. Oh, I like the outfit. No, you look beautiful. You look so beautiful. And that's when I was like, okay, there it is. Instead of people complimenting the clothes, they were complimenting me. So I did buy some like tops with the, the open sweetheart, the off the neck, something like that. I started looking at myself in photographs and turtlenecks going, what was I thinking? Because I just look like a head. With like turtleneck is not the vibe. But yeah, just trying to use the belts, use the waist. Like I had to just start with waist emphasis and necklines. I think were the big one for me. Pants are still a struggle. I'm still not like the skinny jeans for me. I'm like, I know I look good in them, but I'm just not used to them. So the pants I'm still working out, but it's mostly the necklines and the waist emphasis, and nothing too structured and heavy and, anything that flows and pretty. Although some of the structure works because of the essence, but
Yeah, you can
still
rock
working on it.
more moderate weight stuff. Like we
Yeah.
can move you more to more moderate weight things because you're so yin and then your essence is so yang that we meet in the middle with moderate
Yeah.
weight fabrics. So you can rock things like that. How did your clothing, or how has it maybe become more of like a form of permission for you? Has it?
Yes. Yes, because I'm trying not to hide. I think, because what the current trend is all the baggy stuff and the baggy jeans and the baggy this. And I'm just like, I look horrible in that. I feel like a frump. I don't want to be a frump. And I don't have to, I'm embracing my curves too. I don't feel like I have to be waif anymore. I don't feel like I have to go get surgery to remove my hips at this point.
Jesus.
Like,
That sounds very painful.
yeah, no,
Nightmare.
let's not do that. So yeah, it's just kind of giving me permission to be, I almost needed permission to be the like femme fatale because that's sort of, I got your workbook and that's sort of what I came up with in the workbook. Shout out to the workbook. She's kind of like this. She just sits there and just, some of the answers, like the questions I would write, oh, wouldn't you like to know? Like that's what I wrote.
Oh my God, yes.
I should send you my finished workbook.
I would die. Yes. Oh my God. Just take photos of it and just like send it to me on Instagram. I would die just like pulling it up and like reading some of them. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
Funny. Have you named her?
Yeah.
I can't come up with a name for her.
It takes a while sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like Scarlet or something. I don't know. She's kind of a little more, old world, but has some bite to her. But yeah, so it's given me permission to kind of be the femme fatale and be the womanly girly. I think I was trying not to be, because I didn't want to like be too much or show up too dressed or too, look like I was trying too hard, I think. So yeah.
I love this. Do you feel more at home in your body now that you feel like more, I guess, visually validated is probably the term I'm looking for?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Because I'm not trying to be the prepubescent 15-year-old that I was trying to be for so many years in ballet. And so it's like, no, I can be the Marilyn. Like, yes, I'm in the ballet world, but I can be Marilyn. I can be, I don't have to look like everybody else. I'm not supposed to look like everybody else. So it has been very, very liberating in that way too.
Have you had any like photo shoots yet or any like additional like video shoots I mean, I know you did your video for Carol for having your color analysis done for Carol. Have you done any more like poster style analysis where you've had a chance to like be in your
No,
style?
but I want to. I so want to. If I'm in, like, maybe I should come to Houston and we should do something.
That
Like,
would be fun.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron, I'm playing it cool, and Aaron's like,
Yeah.
do it now.
Do it.
Put it on the calendar. I'm booking a flight.
It'd
Absolutely.
be so fun. I would love to. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I should. I would like to do all new branding and like, because that dress, that black velvet dress, was
Amazing.
3 years ago, maybe
Incredible.
2 or 3 years ago. But I think I've been trying to, because I've gone through every single body type until coming to you. At one point, I thought I was a gamine. At one point, I was like, I told you by another stylist been told I was a classic, and I was like, this
Right.
just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And so every photo shoot I've done since just, so I need to redo all of it.
Yeah. I can't wait to see all the new videos that you start putting out with you in your style. Are you feeling more confident as you're
Yes.
starting to like dress yourself? Like, does it feel more like you? And I'm by the way, please be honest, because if the answer is no, like, please be honest.
Oh, no. This is full transparency. It's like giving me permission to be the glamour girl. And I don't know why I felt like I couldn't. I felt like, oh, I need to be more relatable, or like girl next door, or just kind of like, and it's been like, no, I get to actually be the glamour girl because that's who I am.
You're a
At my heart.
glamazon girl. Like,
Yes.
you are a romantic
Yes.
Devil Wears Prada. Meryl
Yes.
Streep.
I mean, we
like,
got
you guys are
all the
awesome.
sparkles, and like I need all the sparkles.
I love it.
So
Yeah. You popped on camera today, and I was like, oh, she showed up.
she showed up. She's trying.
She showed up.
Yep.
I think that is one of the most beautiful things about going through the style analysis and being willing to do the self-exploration that comes along with it. Because it is one of the things Blair will tell her clients that she does is she tries so hard to make them look and feel more like themselves. And it's just magical to watch women start to embrace what Blair calls their body's superpowers, or the unique things about their body, the things that make them special, and then begin to come into their own because they realize those things. So I love that that's been your experience. It was mine as well. So it's fun.
100%.
That's why I'm so excited. That's why I'm like, let's book the trip to Houston, because watching that come alive in people is, I truly, it's better than, it's the most enjoyable thing, in my opinion, to watch unfold.
Yeah. And like I said in the review for you, like, if you're on the fence about working with Blair, don't be on the fence. Just do it. It's like, it's been incredible. And like, so again, you sat there and said things about me that I was like, how does she know that? Like, that's a little, so, but again, it gave me permission to like, be like, no, this is who I am. And this is who I want to be. It's just like figuring out who you are. It's not changing who you are. It's giving yourself permission to be who you are. So
That's why you guys call me a style witch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not joking. When I know your season, your body type, and your essence, I can tell you guys more about you than people that have known you like 10 years.
Yeah.
And I've met you 15 minutes ago.
Accurate.
It's creepy.
Mhm.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
So people say that body positivity lowers clothing standards, and I completely disagree with this.
Who says that?
I think a lot of people, they think that if you are positive about your body, like, for example, like if you're a natural, they're like, oh, if you like really come into your own and you understand that you're a natural, then you're just going to wear all these flowy clothes and then you're going to be frumpy all the time. So they think that it like lowers clothing standards. Honestly, it's a lot of the classics. But I think that it raises clothing standards. Sorry, Erin, I love you. Erin has a classic essence. Sorry,
My
babe.
classic essence is so classic, but my jaw dropped when you said that, because I'm
It's
like,
true.
what is it? People feeling, so it gives whoever this person is judging you, basically saying that your body positivity allows you to look like what I perceive as terrible.
Correct.
That makes no sense.
It doesn't make
What
any
is-
sense at all. I'm not
I don't
dressing
agree.
for you. I'm dressing for me.
I don't agree.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree. I think when you have body positivity, I think it raises clothing standards, because When I look at people, I don't know if y'all feel the same. Please weigh in. But when I look at people, if you on the outside look and I get this vibe that that is authentically who you are, I trust that.
Yes.
Doesn't matter if it's a good vibe or a bad vibe. If it looks like you, I'ma trust it. I feel like that is a really positive thing.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
so I think if you love yourself and you start dressing more like yourself, and I've seen it, dead ass starts with a shirt. I've had clients start spreading more love and more positivity and be happier people just because they've started they realize they're a romantic with a dramatic essence and they're like, "Oh my god, I can never change this because this is
Yeah.
literally the proportions in my body and it's my soul. I might as well just dress like who I am," and they started they have more friends, they started making more money, they have more confidence, I can name a billion they've been invited to more places, they do more things, yeah, than they ever have before, and it's all because they started loving themselves.
Yeah. And then if you feel confident in the clothes are going to look better anyway. You're going to see you. And so, yeah, no, I think it's nothing but good with body
Yeah.
positivity. I don't think it lowers the standard at all. Because then if you're, a natural wearing natural lines, the natural lines are going to look amazing. So,
As a flamboyant natural
As
with
a supermodel.
with the
as a
width.
supermodel.
But honestly, I remember showing Blair or talking I can't remember when it was, but I was wearing just a very basic crew neck Pima cotton long sleeve shirt because it was cold here, and the shoulder seams were right on my bone, and I was talking to Blair, and she looked at me and she said, "Do you see how uncomfortable you look?" And in that moment, I it was hard for me to see that because I had spent my entire life trying to make my shoulders look and feel smaller. And
Mhm.
the other day, we were, laundry needed to be done, and I was running it to the bottom of my drawer, and I pulled out one of these very same long sleeve shirts that's now like stuffed all the way at the bottom, and I put it back on, and I was just like, I it felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt like I couldn't move my arms, and it just there's little pieces that continue to click along this journey. So I
Yeah.
think it raises the bar for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, cuz now I put on a turtleneck recently and I was just like, nope. Like, just like this we look like a floating head and like and I was just like, nope, this is not And like
What
this, I
no, no,
love
no.
the sweetheart. Like this is,
So beautiful.
yeah. Yeah.
It's
It,
so beautiful on you.
thanks. You show up more as yourself if you're in your lines.
I
Absolutely.
totally agree.
Mhm.
I thought of this question and I was like, I love it. I need this shit as a soundbite. So, can we agree? And again, I'm leading the witness here. Can we agree that forcing one body type into excellence is lazier than teaching many of them?
Yes. That's such a good line. That is such a good line. Uh-huh. Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
was
that's a
like,
cop out. Mhm.
right? Like,
Mhm.
what if I literally looked at all of you and was like, nope, sorry, I only work with gamines.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Like, what?
Yeah. No. No.
What?
No. Uh-uh.
Right? Like, I can't even honestly, I can't even imagine saying that because I would feel like my skill level was shit if I
Well,
only told
yeah.
you I worked with comedians. Like, if I went to a ballet school and they're like, "No, we only work with skinny people," I'd be like, "Oh, so you're not good at this." Alright.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was thinking. If you had said, "I
Yeah.
only work with X people," I would have been like, "Bye." Because even
Yeah.
in that, if you're talking style ID, like you're talking your body architecture plus your essence, you can't possibly just work with one. You have to
Right.
understand them all. It's way more deep and complex than that. So,
But I wanna
yeah.
translate that into ballet, though.
Mhm.
Like, if you're amazing at ballet and if you truly see it as an art form, why can't you see the beauty in someone's line that is a romantic, that is a flamboyant natural, that is a this, that is a that, and actually turn all of those lines into something that looks really fluid and beautiful together in a performance? Why must everyone be synchronous
See,
in
that's such a
one
good point.
body form?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
what
such
if
a
you're
good
a
point.
true artist,
Mm-hmm.
why do you have to have conformity for it to be beautiful? Isn't that laziness?
Yes. Yes. And it's not challenging the norm. It's not challenging what's been. It's not challenging your own perceptions. Yeah, it's just, well, that's how it is. You're right. It's lazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I was literally, and said that to my husband last night, and he was like that meme of the cat that was like this, and it's just like pulling out on itself like so many times. I was like, "Are you there? Are you there?" And he was like, "That was so meta."
That's so good. That's so good.
It's like, "You're
Mm-hmm.
so meta." See,
Mm-hmm.
every now and again, a blind squirrel finds a nut, you guys. It just takes me just
No, it's
1 minute.
so good. Yeah,
And
they
this
don't want to do the work to like challenge it. People don't want to do the work. Like, yeah. And it's same with like being a ballet teacher. The ballet teachers that only work with a certain kind. It's like, no, you as a teacher, you have to figure out how to correct each student individually based on their body type and their structure and whose legs are longer and whose legs are shorter. If you just say, well, this is how it is, you're not actually a good teacher. You have to be able to work with everybody.
the only time I literally say, "This is just how it is when people are like, "But why do 7/8 pants work on soft naturals?" I'm like, "It's proportions. I don't know. Yeah, Mr. White. Yeah, science. Like, I don't know. It just is what it is.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know." That's the only time I say that.
Yeah.
That's it. So what kind of artistry do you think's possible when dancers aren't at war with themselves? And
I'm
if the actual directors, decided to take on other body types, like, in this perfect world.
I mean, I think the possibilities are endless because when a dancer doesn't feel a certain way in their body or they don't feel confident in their body, that's all they can think about because your job as a dancer is to look in the mirror and look what's wrong or take criticism or take correction. And if I remember the year I felt the most confident in my body at New York City Ballet. I'd gotten into my best shape. I was getting my roles. I didn't have to think about my body and I could just dance and I could just be the character and I could just be in class. And it takes you out of I'm not good enough and it took me into I really love what I'm doing. And so when you feel your best and you're confident in yourself, you're just like the stress level is so much less rather than it just being about what you look like in the costume or the leotard or, what teachers love to call back fat. Do I have back fat when I'm trying to get my leg up to the back? Um, it, it was liberating that year for me in New York. This was about the year before I got promoted to soloist. I just started to focus on the dancing and the performing, and it was the best year I had there. And so I think that is key to pushing artistry in the art form is for the dancers to feel good about themselves at all times.
I love
Mhm.
that. If ballet maybe was centered around romantic bodies again, like it used to be, instead of punishing them, what do you think would change?
I think you'd see a lot more. I think you'd actually end up seeing a lot more types of bodies in ballet. I think it wouldn't just stop at romantics. I think the key is getting out of the one. And I think if you saw a more romantic type, it would be like, oh, well, we can have this type too, and we can have this type too, and we can have this. I think the whole world would open up and not just be about the one. And it would open up people's eyes, and more dancers would get opportunities.
I love this conversation. I could
That's so
dead
nice.
ass talk to you for like 8 hours. Like, I just
Yeah,
want
me
to
too.
talk
I'm
to you
good.
all.
Let's keep going.
I said earlier to Blair, we could make like 8 episodes with Kathryn. We should just keep
Yeah,
having
great.
conversations again and
We
again.
were I know, we were literally talking about it. Erin and I were like, "When can we have her back? We haven't even recorded yet, and I'm pretty sure we know we wanna have her back." We
Anytime.
just love you. We just love
Anytime.
you.
I love y'all too.
because you know you're
I love
incredible.
that too. Thanks.
Tell everyone where they can find you. All the handles, like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the places. Tell them what you're up to next, like all the stuff. Talk to the people.
YouTube, just type in Kathryn Morgan. It pops right up. She's right there. um,
She is.
that's kind of my website now because I do have a website, KathrynMorganOnline.com, but it's not the most up to date. Like my main place is YouTube. Instagram and TikTok are both Kathryn_Morgan. I need to up my TikTok game. I'm not the best TikToker, actually. And then what's next for me is just more of what I do. Just keep going on YouTube, more opportunities, more judging ballet competitions, just kind of seeing as far as I could go, to be honest. I don't have anything like quote immediate, but just kind of where this takes me. So going through some personal transitions. So that will shift things a little bit too. But yeah, I'm just kind of just going.
I'm so grateful for you spending your morning with us, early afternoon, whatever. I'm so grateful for you spending your time with us. This has been such an eye-opening, fascinating conversation. I told Erin, like, we're about to burst some bubbles and like break open some questions that people dance around and no one has actually asked her. So I really want to do that. So
Yeah,
thank you for being so open and honest.
of course. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I will come back anytime. This was a blast. I could also do this another 4 hours. So, yeah.
We
Well,
love you.
We're super
Aw.
grateful for your time and just your honesty and your vulnerability about all of the ways that you have walked in this world. And I personally can't wait to keep watching.
Thank you. Thank you. Right back at you.
Well, that has been this week's episode, you guys. As always, you can find us right here on YouTube or on your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Make sure that you give us a like and subscribe. Give us a comment. Make sure that you give us a rating. Make sure that you follow us. All the things that you're supposed to be doing. We will catch you next time. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.